So if you're interested in creating your graphs in Excel and then attaching those to that Word document or printing these out separately, you're definitely welcome to do so. And this is a quick tutorial on how to do that. So you'll only need to graph what I have here in pink. So on the left-hand side here we have the natural edge. Your questions are going to ask about the total number of individuals, diversity, DBH. And then on the right-hand side, we have those same 4 categories for your forest interior, which you see down here. So in order to graph these, making a bar graph itself is simple, but the confidence intervals get a little bit tricky. So the first thing you need to do is first rearrange the data. So I'm going to graph species richness. Then I know I have 2 different habitats. I have natural edge and I have forest interior. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste these values just so I have them all together. So here I am, natural edge, richness. I'm going to put this over here. And here's the species richness for the forest. I'm going to put those over here. Now I'm just going to reformat it so I don't have coloring or anything, but you don't need to do this. This is not going to affect your graph at all. But I'm just going to do it just to make it look a little bit prettier. Alright, so I'm going to write average, and I'm just going to use CI for confidence interval. This is really just for me. This isn't even going to go in your graph. So now that I have all my data right next to each other, it's really easy what I need to do next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight these names, natural edge and interior, as well as that average. So an average of 1.5 richness and an average of 3.5 richness. I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to choose this vertical bar graph, and you're going to select the first one. So here, since I highlighted those names, it went ahead and labeled my 2 bars, which is perfect. But we also need to put in our confidence interval, or our error bars. So the way you do this, now it will be a little different from different versions of Microsoft Excel. I'm using 2013, is while your chart is highlighted, you're going to go to Add Chart Element, and you're going to select Error Bars, and then more error bar options. Now for me, I get this pop-up on the left. I'm going to move this a little bit. So the direction, both is already highlighted, and that's what you want. We want an error bar above and below our bar chart. End style, keep to cap. Now here, this error amount. Now it has it set to a fixed value, but we don't want that. We want an error bar of 0.6 for natural edge and 2 for interior. So we're going to click Custom and specify value. Now it says positive error value. So with this whole thing highlighted, you're going to select this 0.6 and 2.0. And you need to select both of them. Excel already knows that 0.6 is going to go to that first bar and that 2.0 is going to go to that second bar. This is why it's really important to keep your data organized. For your negative error bar value, you're going to click this button again and highlight 0.6 and 2.0. So this is saying we have a positive error, or above the bar, this amount, and below or negative value, this amount. Click OK. And then you should see that here in your graph. So you double check, make sure that your error bars look correct, that they're the right size. And now you have the data part of your graph done. Now, just like before, if you watch the scatter plot one, you want to make sure that all of your text is in black. You want to increase the text size. You're going to want to add a legend, or not a legend, but a axis title. So going to Design, Add Chart Element, Axes titles, and really for this one you just only need a vertical title. For instance, this one is Species Richness, and I'm going to edit that, and I'm actually going to put Average Species Richness. Make sure that's in black font, increase that font size, get rid of these grid lines. We actually want a very dark axis title line, so what I just did is I clicked these axis numbers. If you double click it, you'll get your box with all your options. We want a solid line, we want this line to be black. We also want tick marks, so I click this bar chart, click tick marks, major type on the outside, and see they automatically populated. You could also do minor type on the outside, and those are small lines in between, but you don't need to do that. Do the same thing for down here. So I'm going to change this line to a solid black line so we can actually see it. I'm going to change my text to black. I'm going to increase my text size. And then if you notice, these standard error bars are this gray too, which looks bad. So I just changed those to black. And then you should put a pretty sweet chart title here. And again, make sure this is in a font of black. And I know that seems tedious, and I'm sorry that Excel sucks in that regard, that everything's in gray. But this looks a lot better than having everything in this light gray and dark gray color. So this is your graph, and that's great. And so what you can do is you can just copy and paste this right into a Word document. Now you may notice the colors may change. When you're in a Word document, you can change colors and have these same exact options too. So if anything does change, that's totally fine. You can edit it in Microsoft Word.